If there were ever a time that you need to raise your own livestock, to make your own meat, it is now. All of the meat you buy in the store, it is being fed with feed that comes from Roundup. And so all the meat has been exposed to glyphosates, because glyphosates are in the feed of nearly all the livestock grown in the United States. Likewise, all the lamb meat you buy in the store has been exposed most likely to dewormers, or at least to medications, or to vaccines, which these vaccines will have mercury compounds in them. Thiomersal is an organic mercury compound that's used as a preservative in vaccines. And the longer you eat grocery store meat that's been vaccinated with thiomersal, the more likely you're being exposed to a lot of mercury you didn't know you had. But there's something with a much greater impact on humans, and I believe it's the growth hormone that they inject into animals. It's a pellet they put into the ear of the animal that causes it to grow much faster and much bigger. One example for sheep is this Ralgrow hormone stimulant. Now notice it says it's hormone-free growth stimulant. How can it be hormone-free? It's because it's a synthetic hormone. So yeah, it's free of animal hormones. It's a totally synthetic hormone, and that's how they call it hormone-free. Notice they say for animal use only, yet who actually eats this meat? It'll end up in a human sooner or later. So what exactly is this synthetic hormone that's going into a human at some point? It is something called zeranol. There are 12 milligrams of zeranol in each one of these little capsules that they're injecting into the ear of a sheep, and it's staying in there for the rest of its life until it's slaughtered. Zeranol is a synthetic estrogen that's being used as a growth hormone in animals. It is not approved for use in the European Union because they know it's got some problems. That if people eat this, there can be some consequences. One consequence is that it may increase cancer cell proliferation in already existing breast cancer. This is a very potent form of estrogen that can cause other problems to those who eat the meat after it's being used. So what does the Food and Drug Administration say about it, or the FDA? The Food and Drug, or FDA, is the one that actually allowed this in since the 1950s. They've allowed in these steroid hormone drugs in their synthetic versions in order to increase the weight of cattle and sheep. Now look at this chart about the obesity epidemic in the United States. It's been going on since the 1950s, about the time that all these steroids in the meat were released. That's about the time that we start seeing a huge jump in obesity. So what is making everybody so fat in the United States, but not all the other countries of the world? Just this country has this problem with obesity. What is going on here? Well, they'll tell you. These drugs increase the animal's growth rate and the efficiency by which they convert the feed they eat into meat. Well, don't you think that applies to humans too? And look at this. All approved steroid implant products have a 0-day withdrawal. That means when the animal goes in for slaughter, it is pumped full of this stuff. The implant is working at 100%. It's had enough time to do whatever it's got to do. And what you're eating is coming out of that. Then whoever wrote this article at the FDA said, this means that the meat from the animal is safe for humans to eat at any time after the animal is treated. Well, why? How can one imply the other? They talk to you like you're a child. They talk down to you in this article. Then they tell you that the FDA approves these drugs only after information and studies have shown that the food from the treated animals is safe for people to eat. Well, who does the studies, FDA? Who's actually doing that? That's the same people that sell you these drugs, right? Then the FDA goes on to tell us that these approved drugs are just synthetic versions of natural hormones like trenbolone acetate and this zeranol. So just like the natural hormone implants before the FDA approved these drugs, the FDA required information and toxicological testing in laboratory animals to determine safe levels. So who did the testing, FDA? And actually, how did you do the test? Did you look at people who had eaten these animals over a period of like 20 years to see if they started putting on weight? Or did you let the manufacturer test it for you and kind of give you some answers about it? Well, here they tell you, the FDA required that the manufacturers demonstrate that the amount of hormone left in each edible tissue after treatment is below the appropriate safe level. So who did the determination of the appropriate safe level? Did the FDA itself do that? Did the FDA do like a 20-year period double-blind study of people who eat this food versus people who don't to see if one set gains weight and the other one doesn't? No, the obesity epidemic is blamed entirely on fat people, that they can't stop eating and it's all their fault, and that's why they're fat. And just because Americans themselves just eat too much. That's it. Yet these same hormones are banned in Europe. All the European communities banned these hormones in 1989, and we don't see as many fat people over there, I don't believe, as we do here in the United States. So why did Europe ban these hormones? Well, one thing was a scandal that came out where they started discovering that there was premature puberty in these Italian school children. And so they banned it because they saw there was a cause and effect of what these hormones could do. The people of Europe banded together and lobbied for a total ban upon growth hormones, but they were opposed with partial success by the pharmaceutical industry. And so this went back and forth. They fought and finally got some sort of ban against these products. While in the United States, we're totally under control of Big Pharma. We have not been able to ban hardly anything. And the other synthetic hormone is this trenbolone acetate that makes muscle growth in cattle and, of course, sheep. It's given by injection into a muscle. But it gives all these symptoms of masculinization like acne, body hair growth, scalp hair loss, voice changes. And so it can turn a woman into a man. That's what I believe is going on here. And so this could be an addition to the transgender movement or the gender dysphoria that we see today in the United States. It could be all coming from these hormones. And it's not something you can avoid. Anytime you go out to buy a hamburger at a fast food joint, you could be getting these growth hormones as part of your burger. And so this is a very serious problem. And so if there ever were a time to raise your own animals and process your own meat, something you know where it came from, you know what's been done to it, if there was ever a time in our history, it is now. Now is the time to get you a small sheep herd. It's a lot easier than cattle. You just get you a few sheep, put in your backyard, something you have control over, something that you know your family can eat and not be affected by it. But these other problems with the dewormers, the medications, the vaccines, they're bad. But this growth hormone garbage, it's got to stop. And hopefully Bobby Kennedy or somebody at the FDA can fix this problem. But right now it's out there everywhere, all around you. And I hope God blesses all of us with safety from this issue. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening.